take you back in
every Friday.
It's time to go back. Let's go.
Welcome to the Savvy Radio Show with your host, Savvy Landlord. Up next is the best deal ever on Fridays. Check out all episodes on Savvy Radio Show. Let's do it.
All right, Savvy Investors, it is Friday. Bing, bing. I'm excited. Well, not really today. No, I'm excited because I'm alive and I'm out doing what you need to be doing. What I'm doing is real estate investing. But not all real estate investing is sweet. There is some sour. And let me break this deal down to you. This is a deal that got appraisal came in at 125, if I can remember. I thought I was the savvy somebody, and I got it under contract for about 66. I figured I'd be all in at 70, no big deal. And this is a transaction where I had bank funding lined out, but we've been, a couple months ago, we've been all in private money, and I wanted to try to do private money. So I raised $80,000 in private money. So this was a pivotal deal for me because there was private money involved. It was a smoking deal, and it was brought to me from a realtor that had it as a listing, couldn't sell it. Now I know why, and I'm about to break it down to you. And I thought I just whooped in there, made $50-something thousand worth of equity. I'm going to rent this bad boy out for $1,200. I'm going to try to rehab this deal for about 10. It was a cosmetic. So let me give the scope of the deal, and then I'm going to tell you where I went wrong. Number one, it was a 3-bedroom. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, or actually, it was a 4-bedroom with a garage conversion. It has 2 baths. 2 baths. Yep. And one of the master bath didn't have a full shower. It was a giant tub. I thought that was weird. It was like Las Vegas. And it has 3-car garage. A garage was added on. It was a 2-car garage with a 3rd garage. And it's in a kind of a, I wouldn't say prestigious neighborhood, but it was more of a maybe an upper class neighborhood. All the homes in that neighborhood are around 100,000 and above. There really hasn't seemed to be any rentals in that neighborhood. And then the rentals I did do comp down on were about 1,100. But I was like, I wanted to pimp this out and do it for 12. So normal cosmetic stuff. Again, here we go. So I bought it for about 66, 70 all in with closing. I bought it from a realtor. It was a deal that he brought to me. The appraisal came back, bang, bang, 125 all in, no money down deal. I had the money lined up with the bank, stopped the bank loan, and went with private money, borrowed $80,000, $10,000, so it was a no money down deal. Everything's going great. So I noticed when I purchased the property, now, this is one thing that I went wrong. I did not have an inspection. And now we just covered that a couple of episodes ago, that, I have all this experience. I'm trying to cut costs, and I probably should have. Maybe, I don't know if they would have found what I'm about to break off on the inspection. And I found someone that does inspections for $150. So that's one thing right there that you need to learn. There's somebody in your neighborhood, in your network, somewhere that they do inspections that are kind of more reasonable if you're doing volume, and maybe not so robust, but just the mechanicals and ultimately another set of eyes. But, one thing I did notice when I went into the property, that the garage conversion, so they converted a part of the garage and then they built on and added and fixed the garage. So there's actually 3-car garage, but what they did, they just added on to the property, and they converted the first original 2-car garage into a bedroom. Well, that 2-car garage, I realized, had tons of mold, and it had tons of water damage. And in my mind, I was like, man, that's no big deal. I see that all the time. Let me rip it all out. So I ripped out all the drywall and sealed it up inside and outside and moved down the road. And I think, and I can't remember, but probably I saw some water stains per se. I wouldn't say damage, but water stains and some residue from water drying on the far wall in the garage. No big deal. Garages leak. It's only a garage. So I closed the property, spent $15,000 remodeling this property. And rule number 2, or point number 2, is you're never going to be on budget. You can try to be on budget, but things just happen. There's flunky contractors out there. There's delays in holding cost, and there's just life. So you think I can get it done for 10, and I don't know even if that was even a realistic goal, but that was my objective. A total no money down deal. So now I'm digging in the purse here. So then I'm moving on this transaction, and a month goes by. I get it done. Everything seems to be great. It didn't rent for the $1,200 that I wanted it to. It's okay, The market's kind of weird right now, so I lower it down, and at this point in time, I got it for $1,000 of. Now we're a month in rent, and I'm getting a little nervous. One, I have an $80,000, roughly $800. Usually, I calculate it by 1% in loan costs. That's holding cost, loan cost, and taxes and insurance. So I'm probably in this thing for about $900 a month. So I'm getting kind of bummed here. I'm making $1,000, not making no money, but let's just say grossing $1,000, $900 in cost. I'm making $100. So I move a tenant in, and we drop the rent. So when we drop the rent, we go a lot more. I wouldn't say a lot more, but a lot more due diligence is in place in grinding it out with the background check. And if we're going to give someone a discount, we don't want any headaches. That's my philosophy. I need to write that on a board on the office. But if we're going to drop the rent, we're going to get a lot more applications. Thus, we need to do a lot more due diligence and make sure the person that's getting in there. So we got a really pretty decent tenant in there. Everything's going great. Then I get a phone call from the property manager that when it rains, the house floods. Yeah, I paused. What? The house floods? Sure enough, Van Kellenberg. Well, it's kind of on a hill, but there's about 6 foot of grade above this property in the back. Now, I noticed the retaining wall on the outside. Well, I thought someone cured that problem the first time. I saw the giant French drain grill in the center of the backyard. Thought that problem was fixed. Hey, moved on. Saw some missing gutters that were on the backside of the house. No big deal. Moved on. Wow. $15,000 of rehab, and the freaking place is flooding. Like now, just recently it's torrential rains here in Oklahoma City, but man, my life has been a little wow, and it's a massive drain issue, and it's a drain issue that it's out of my scope per se. And so another thing that I learned, I tapped into the local network of landlords and real estate investors, and I was like, I sent out a text blast to everybody I knew. Yo, I need help with the issue with this drainage. And some folks came through. Scott England, got to give you much love, came through with a contractor. Now, we haven't finished this job. The contractor comes back and says, you need to build a 50-foot channel of concrete. What? Concrete. Yep. And do this, grade this, jump on this, flip on that. Everybody said, bang, bang. 3 G's. 3 G's. Now here's the deal. Now I'm like, let me reevaluate this situation. I got $85,000 in the deal. We're going down a road that may go into disaster zone. And I'm like, I need to dump this property because I got a private money loan on there that's only for 12 months. I have all this money tied up in this deal. And now we just touching the surface. And so I was like, man, that was the first thing that came across my mind. So I got with my general manager and I was like, hey, we need to figure this out. And she suggested, just like I was thinking, we're too deep into this deal. We got to keep going. I don't know if that's good advice today for you. That's why this is not so joyfully, savvy landlord. So I was like, okay, so let's hire this dude. So he gets into that. Now this just happened. So I'm actually checking the work today. So hopefully we're functional, and it's supposed to rain today on top of that, or this weekend or sometime soon. It will, because it's the month of May. So then I get another call at the same time that I sign a contract with the contractor for the 3Gs. Yeah, we just had the plumbing company come over there with the camera, and under the house, the lines have collapsed, the sewer line. No, you didn't. She's like, yeah, we did. And I want to be clear. Isn't this property on a slab? Yes, it is, Mr. Van Kallenberg. It is on a slab. So we have to cut in the middle of the living room and dig it out. And we already have disgruntled tenants in the property. Yes, Mr. Van Kallenberg, we do. How much is that going to cost? 4 G's. Now I know why the property didn't get sold the first time. So, I mean, I could sit here and we could talk about drama for the rest of the afternoon, wherever you listen to this, or in the morning. I'm cutting this deal at 6 something in the morning. And don't do what I just did on a property. This is what I learned. Number one, all kinds of drama with these tenants. They moved in. I'm paying $11,000 a month, and I need VIP service, and we're having our things flooding. The sewer line doesn't work. So A1, I got to deal with the tenants, and they want some sort of discount. And there's a law. I mean, there's a law in Oklahoma. If their bathroom's not functional, you need to provide a way for that, AKA it's going to cost you money. So that was my first drama. Well, I mean, multiple dramas at one time. So I'm getting shot, slapped, and pimped all at the same time. Bang, bang, boom. Dealing with tenants that are drama. Dealing with one contractor on an area that's way out of my scope. Yes, I have cut up houses before in slabs. Yes, I've done it before. It just causes a lot of drama with debris and sounds and smells, and life goes on. And then trying to deal with a disgruntled tenant on top of that. So I probably do a part 2 and tell you how that disgruntled tenant. Well, here's my thing is I offered them, half rent, 20% discount. Or no, yeah, I offered them a $500 concession, or you can move out and I'll refund your deposit. And in the scheme of things, if you had cash reserves, I would just offer them to move out, because there's just liability issues that you don't want to deal with. You may give them the $500 and they may camp out in the property, and all of a sudden even more. And I don't want to talk anything over me, but more things could happen that go wrong. So that's just the scope of this deal. Yeah, Fabulous Friday, big deal, Van Kallenberg. Why are you telling me this deal? Here's why I'm telling you this deal. Number one, do not cut corners. Like, seriously, if you can't afford an inspection, call somebody else. Let them look at it. I've been raising up some young investors right now, and I've been all over them on the flood zone. I bought a property about 10 years ago in a flood zone. It has affected me, nothing negatively, but it's been a sore that I can't sell a property unless I take a loss on it. Because who wants to buy a property in the flood zone, and who wants to pay the double insurance? So do not cut corners. Now, that's added to my list. So number one, check for flood zone. Obviously, this was on a house, on a hill. How would this be in a flood zone? Number two, but really check for drainage. Look for water stains. Like, be diligent in the flow of the property when the rain comes in. 2, have cash reserves. Seriously, if I was where I used to invest, all my money, every second, every dollar went into real estate investing, I would be kind of crippled right now. The market is shifting. Rentals is getting weirder. Houses and stuff, the market is going through a transition right now. You need cash reserves for unperceived drama. Check the work. I didn't mention this earlier, but there were some quirky things that went wrong with this property, electrical and just weird things, like we should have put a shower in and just a bunch of other stuff. Should have been on checking the work. The other thing is fix everything before you ever move a tenant in. Now, I didn't foresee this, but it just happens. And then have a policy and procedure in place when you have drama with the tenant. So you don't want to add insult to injury. I'm already dealing with a heart attack with a drain issue that I've never dealt with before. When I'm speaking drain issue, I'm not talking about sewer line, but I'm talking about just water, French drain. That's just an area that I am not an expert in, and I have to trust somebody else that I don't even know trying to counsel me, give me advice on stuff that I have no idea. I can't even do it myself. So that adds added stress. Then on top of that, I got disgruntled tenants yelling at me. And then on top of that, I have a sewer line that collapsed under a slab. So all this could have been prevented maybe if I would have put a camera down it myself. And I even own a camera. 2, had a policy and procedure. How do we handle this? So I didn't have the property manager calling me, blowing me up, which causes stress for me. And then effing Van Kallenberg, stop cutting corners and do better inspections. I don't know if this made your day. It didn't make my day. It probably made my day because I got to get this off my chest. Yeah, not every real estate transaction is a home run, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls around the world. But I can tell you this right now, I'm not going to lose on this deal, because if I hold on over time, these $1,000 a month tenants are going to pay it down. You just have to bite the bullet, grind it out, and have good joy about the situation. And let me tell you, I think the joy comes in for having relationships with other real estate investors that can sympathize, have empathy for me and what I'm dealing with. I'm the Savvy Landlord. That's right, Steve Van Kallenberg. You listen to the SavvyRadioShow.com. Have a great, beautiful weekend.
Thanks for listening to the Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at SavvyRadioShow.com. Connect on Twitter at LandlordBook, and always be buying assets.